Hello YouTube, it's me Vdeogamer, and this is the how to draw video game characters tutorial, and today I will be drawing Sonic and Mario, both in the same drawing at the final destination. You're going to need some sort of paper, pencil with an eraser, mechanical pencil, permanent markers, and colored pencils if you want to color your drawing. So, without further ado, let the drawing begin. Once again, I was kind of early. Alright, to start off this drawing, what we're first going to do is we're going to lay out a basic sketch line of the characters. This thing's not going to be accurate hardly at all. It's just to sort of let me know where I want to place my characters. So I'm just going to sketch that in real quick. Once again, you don't have to do the exact same formation of the characters as I do. You can be creative with your drawings and come up with your own crazy drawing if you want. So I decided to start on Sonic first. I usually like to start off the characters with the eyes normally. So I came back to the eyes and just started outlining his goggle shaped eyes with his inner eyes inside of those. Just sort of outline it like so. Add in his nose and his mouth area below his eyes. Add in his eyebrow lines things, I guess, and his ears. I made them a little bit pointier, just because he was angry, I guess. So, draw it in like that. And then I drew in his spikes, which I made a lot sharper than I normally do, just because of how angry Sonic is, I guess. Because he doesn't like Mario and Mario doesn't like him. Whenever you're starting out, it might be a good idea to start out with light sketch lines. That way, if you make a mistake, you can easily erase it and continue without having a dark mark on your paper. And inside the eye, draw in another oval and color it black. It's the pupil. Add a little bit of glare. And then we're going to work on the rest of Sonic's body, just by outlining his hand, fist, feet, just about everything. If you're unfamiliar with the character of Sonic, what you might want to do is you might want to go to Google Images and get a picture of Sonic as reference for whenever you're drawing, because sometimes these characters can get a little tricky, and if you want it to be accurate, it's best to do it with a picture at hand. Notice how that I'm totally disregarding my original sketch outline and just sort of drawing it as I go along. The sketch line was only to let me know where I basically wanted it. Now I'm just fixing it up and finalizing it pretty much. The way I'm having Sonic stanced is that he's sort of jumping in the air, and he'll have a beam sword in one hand, and then he's about to punch Mario with his other hand. Draw in Sonic's sock. Then draw in his triangular shaped shoes. We're not going to do anything too fancy for the shoes, just going to give them the classic Sonic look. I love water. Okay, so a little bit more detail on the fist. Typically hands are the most difficult thing to draw, but if you keep looking at it, I'm pretty sure you could see what it looks like. It's even hard to explain, I guess, but as you can see what I'm doing, I'm just making basic rectangular shapes, angled sort of down. And then I added in two lines on top of the hand as sort of knuckles, and his thumb just comes around and sort of is tucked behind or on top of. It's sort of hard to tell from this angle, and that just makes it look more like a hand. It's probably not the best hand in the world, but for this character, I think it works pretty well. The funny thing about Sonic characters is that their fists are extremely large for their character. So now I'm going to work on the hand with the beam sword. If you've ever seen someone hold a sword, you'll know that it's sort of difficult to draw it like that. But one thing you can even do yourself is just get something that's sort of like even a phone. Just grab your phone and see how your hand wraps around it and sort of try to recreate that in your drawing. It's it's interesting whenever you do that because you can use the same technique for just anything. But hands and feet are typically the hardest things to draw, so if you keep practicing, I'm sure you'll get better. And now I added a few speed lines on Sonic's fist and his feet to make it seem like he's moving faster. Put a outline on the bottom of the shoe. And then his classic white stripe right across the top. Same for the other shoe, only difference being that you get to see a little bit of the buckle on the side. Finish up his sock on his shoe, just like such. And now what we're going to do is we're going to outline Sonic with a Sharpie. This really cleans up the drawing a lot. It gives you a permanent outline though, so whenever you're doing this, be careful that you don't outline something that you don't want to keep. Then once you outline it, you can erase it, all the pencil lines underneath with your pencil, or eraser. Now we're going to color. As you can see, I'm putting down a very light blue at first. This is the wrong color blue for Sonic. But the reason I'm doing this is so I can have some nice highlights and shadows in this drawing. Adds lots of contrast and just helps the drawing out a whole bunch. Pretty sure if you've been watching my videos for a while, you've heard me say that over and over, and you're probably sick of it, but I can't stress it enough. Shading just makes a drawing look awesome. Sonic's eyes are green, shoes are red, and the beam sword sort of has a brass, goldenish type handle. And on the white of the strap and the gloves and stuff, I added a little bit of gray just so it wasn't so monotonous. And then on Sonic's hair, what I started off was with a darker blue. It's not really all that dark, it's sort of a medium shade blue. I just decided to color in a sort of shaded pattern. I want my light source to be sort of at the mid-left, so that means all the shadows are going to be more to the right. This color I'm putting on right now is not the darkest shadow, it's just sort of a medium tone to sort of ease it into the shadow. We're going to do the same sort of shading technique just for the entirety of Sonic's body. On his socks and gloves, it's a little bit more straightforward because of how angled everything is on his hands and socks. But you'll learn this kind of stuff as you keep practicing drawing and pay attention to the objects in real life. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take an even darker blue and we are going to shade like we did for the medium blue, except we're going to color a lot darker and we're sort of going to fade it into the medium shade blue as well. You can start seeing how this color actually is closer to the actual Sonic color. And on the shoes, we're not going to do a whole bunch of fancy shading. We're just going to take one shade of darker red and just sort of shade like we've been doing for the rest of Sonic's body. Just add a little bit of shine to it by leaving a little bit of the highlight color. On the beam sword, you notice how I didn't outline it. That's because I wanted to make it sort of look like it was lighter than the rest of the drawing. What I mean by that is sort of like it's emanating light. So I didn't outline it and I just sort of colored it with a lot of light blues and streaked it off sort of like it was flowing with energy, I guess. I don't know, it's not exactly like the energy sword on Super Smash Bros. Brawl. It's close, but I added my own style to it. And on Sonic's skin, I decided to add a little bit of brown just on the edge to finish it up. Now we're going to draw Mario. It's-a me, Mario. I don't know, I had to do that, I'm sorry. We're going to continue down on the face, Mario's nose, and his eyes, and his mustache. And that's pretty simple stuff. His eye's just a big oval. His nose just comes right off of his face like another big oval. And his mustache is just sort of bushy and curvy. Drawing his eyebrow and his inner eye, which is just 2 more circles inside, and then a little circle as the glare. Then I decided to make his mouth like he's angry at Sonic somewhat, or like he's yelling at him. Like he's just angry in general. Now we're going to draw the rest of his face outline. Sort of curve that around like so. Outline his hat. Now I'm just gonna warn you ahead of time that this is not my best drawing of Mario. This is just... I thought it would turn out better than this, but it didn't, so... I don't know. I guess I can let you guys be the judge of it, but I am not pleased with this drawing of Mario, really. I've done better before. Thinking about doing a remake now just because of this. But that aside, continue working on it. Draw his ear just as a largest circle. Drawing his hat just sort of coming around like such. And that's where I think I messed up most, was the hat. It just doesn't look right. Comes out too far. If you want, you can get a Google image of Mario and compare my drawing to that. That way you can see just how much I messed up and fix my mistake. If you can draw Mario and send me in a drawing of him, just to show me what I did wrong, go ahead, do that. Send it as a video response to this video. See what I get. Drawing his hair just behind his head. Just 2 little curls. Drawing his neck. And now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the rest of Mario's body. I found out as I was drawing this that my sketch line is way off from what I originally wanted the drawing to look like. Except for the hand, which I think was another thing I messed up on, was I made his hand too long. Or his arm, I guess. But it's all part of drawing. You mess up, you learn from it, and you try again. Keep on drawing, as I say, at the end of my videos. Which is not the end of the video yet, but you know what I mean. In Mario's hand, I decided to have him holding a fireball, like he's about to throw it into Sonic's face. But he's not going to be able to, because Sonic's going to slice him with his energy sword. And Mario's other hand has already just fired a fireball and missed Sonic. So Mario's pretty much doomed right now. Drawing Mario's legs, like such. Mario's legs were probably the most difficult part to draw. Mario is a strange character. He's stubby and fat. What? I did not say that. I'm sorry. That was not me. Never mind. Mario is short and he's short and his legs are short too. So I think I overall overestimated his height and size. So that kind of messed up the drawing for me. Add in his overalls real quick. Just do a little bit more details on the body. And notice how I just completely erased the hand and started over again. That was because I was not happy with how it looked. That happens sometimes. I'm sorry. I don't know, I'm terrible at explaining how to do these drawings, right? Tell me if I'm terrible at this in the comments, because I really feel like I'm not doing anything for you by explaining this part. I'm just sort of going on about nonsense. Really. Drawing Mario's other hand. It's sort of hard to see from this distance, but it's pretty simple, just if you think about it. Just sort of, you can even put out your hand like you just shot a fireball from it, and just see how that sort of looks. And then, just by looking at it, you can sort of translate that down onto paper. Now we're going to outline with the Sharpie, like I said before. For Mario's eyes and his mustache, we don't need to do a whole bunch of shading or coloring there, so I just decided to outline or color it in with the Sharpie itself. And whenever you're outlining, just sort of go at a steady pace, not too slow, not too fast, and just be very careful whenever you're doing this, because you won't be able to erase the outline itself. Now what I did was I erased all the pencil underneath, just to clean it up a lot. And now we're going to color Mario. We're going to use the same shading technique we did for Sonic, just by first laying down a base coat color, so we can have some shading on it. And in Mario's hand, I decided to have him holding a fireball, and I'm going to do the same thing I did for the beam sword, and make it so that it's a sort of light emanating objects, just sort of energy. As you can see what I'm doing right now, I'm adding a whole bunch of yellows, oranges, and reds, just sort of streaked in together. And at the center of it, I sort of took the orange and yellow and just sort of made this ball type shape. It's sort of messy, but I think it adds a lot of energy to it if it's not so uniform, because you don't want fire to be uniform whatsoever. Then on Mario's other hand, just sort of shaded that the same way I did for that. Color in the pants with a simple blue. His shoes are brown, of course, and his eyes are blue. His hair is brown and his skin is peachish, yellowish color. Maybe not yellowish, I don't know. Skin colors are one of the most difficult things to mix. The more colors you have to choose from, the easier it is. But if you don't have that many colors, you just might want to mix oranges, reds, yellows till you get it right. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to shade on the red colors of Mario. We're going to basically do the same shading we did for Sonic, doing all the shadows to the side and the right. But one thing I thought was interesting about this drawing was that there are so many other sources of light in this drawing than just my main sun, that I did a little bit more complex shading, as you can tell. Because there's light coming off of the beam sword, there's light coming off of Mario's fireball, and that all affects the drawing in a way. That's a little bit more complicated, but if you just want to get the general shading down, you don't have to do all the crazy shading I did, but it's just something more interesting to do, if you're ever up for it. Add in some more orange for the other fireball. More red, darker orange. It's all sorts of fiery colors, whatever you want to make it look like. You can make it look sort of just a quick fireball, or you can make it look epic and really awesome. I don't know. It's up to you. Be creative with your drawings. Said that too much, haven't I? Sorry. Add a little bit of it blue where Sonic's energy sword is touching the ground. Then on Mario's shoes, add a little bit more shading, like such. And then around the fireball, I decided to add a yellow glow around it, just to cast off some sort of lighting source. Same for the energy sword, just a blue glow around it. And whenever you're putting this sort of glow around it, you can spill it on over to the characters themselves, and that sort of helps put on some of the light from the thing onto their characters. And in the places where Mario is darkest, because there's not a whole bunch of light shining on those, you can just take your darkest shade of blue and just sort of color in there. Just complete the shadowing for the blue. So now I'm going to add a sort of quick background for this. I didn't want to spend too much time on it just because of how massive it is and just because of how insane it is. But my background for this drawing is going to be the final destination, which is a stage that you can battle on in Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I'm pretty sure it's been in other Super Smash Bros. Games before, but this one is from Brawl version. It's just this stage sort of floating out over this ocean with a sunset. It looks really epic, and it's even more epic in the game itself. I can't even capture it with the drawing. But for the ocean, I just decided to make it a whole bunch of horizontal streaks of different colors, like oranges, reds, yellows to sort of reflect the sun, but I also added some gray to it just to sort of mellow it out a bit, seem it might look more like water, I guess. And then the only part of the background I outlined on this drawing was the stage itself. I didn't want to spend too much time on it either, so I didn't do all those different colors on it like you would normally see. But if you want to take the extra hour to complete the final destination stage, be my guest. Send it in if you can. That'd be quite interesting, because I just did not want to for this drawing. I already spent like 2 hours drawing Sonic and Mario themselves, and this part probably took me like another 30 minutes or so, I don't know. It's up to you how much time you want to spend on your drawings, but the more time you spend on a drawing, typically, the better it gets. Now we're going to color the drawing, or the stage, I guess, just a purple color. I decided to add on some shadows beneath Sonic and Mario as well, where the sun's at. This sort of helps them stay grounded on the stage, I guess, so to speak. Just color the entirety of that platform purple, because, well, I guess there's other colors on it, but I just wanted to get it done with, because I already spent enough time on this drawing. Now we're going to put a little bit of the lighting effects on the ground itself, from Mario's fireball, the energy sword, the fireball in the background, and just about anything else we have on there. We're also going to take a little bit of the color from the fireball and put it onto Sonic himself, just to show that the lighting from the fireball is also influencing the colors on Sonic's body. And that pretty much wraps up my combined drawing of Sonic and Mario battling at Final Destination. If you want to add more to it, I guess you could, but a drawing like this takes a lot of time to make in the first place, so if you've ever got 3 hours... 3 hours, oh my gosh. I hope this doesn't deter you from drawing, but if you put a lot of time into it, you're going to make an awesome drawing, and it's just... you feel good whenever you complete a drawing like that. I hope you like this drawing, 3rd place contest winner of set 6. And for you, just the normal regular viewer, you should subscribe if you like these videos, because I'm planning on making 17 more drawings in these upcoming months for set 7. And also, you should know that I take requests on characters. If you would like to send me a request, go to my channel, send me a message with your character, a picture link, and any other details you'd like me to include. Once again, thank you for watching. Check out some of my other videos and maybe some of my pictures at DeviantArt. And until next time, keep on drawing.